Okay, go along. Oh, it didn't get to you. I'm sorry, what was that? Oh, you can't swim? I'm sorry, I cannot help you with that right now. I'm busy. We're gonna have to figure out a way to get through that. Sorry. Oh, hi. Hi. Hey again. Sorry about that. I was getting distracted. Um, anyway, let's talk about this quarantine life. Because this quarantine life can feel like we're stranded because we can't really go anywhere. We can't really do a whole lot. Um, and so, one of the challenges that I think a lot of people have faced right now, um, one challenge in particular is everybody trying to figure out what what restaurant to order carryout from. I don't know. I mean, have you all been through that yet? Where everybody has a different taste or a different idea of what they want to eat, and nobody in the family can decide, and then everybody's kind of debating back and forth. Well, I think we should get this. Well, I think we should do that. Can you look up the menu for this place? Call this place, see if they're open. Can you see if they're still in business right now? Because a lot of businesses aren't. Who's going to take down the order? Who's going to make the telephone call? And when you do make the telephone call, sometimes the people answering the telephone call don't really get the order correct, or you have to repeat your address to them like 50 times until they can repeat back to you the correct address. Kind of a funny, stressful but funny situation. I know we've all been there. We've all dealt with that during quarantine. Because who's not ordering takeout like once a week? We gotta support our local businesses. And if you're not, good for you, because you're continuing to eat healthy, continue to stay healthy and be healthy. But I like myself some takeout. So, friendship. A friendship we can have similar issues when it comes to friendship. Friendship isn't necessarily debating and arguing about what to eat for takeout, but there are real challenges, in friendship. And one of the biggest challenges when it comes to friendship is, surrounding yourself with good friendship. That's like one of the biggest challenges. What is good friendship? Are the people that I'm spending the time with, like, are they a good influence on me in my life? Am I a good influence on them in their life? If you watch the last session's reflection, Jesus gave us the model of what it means to be a true friend, and that's to lay your life down for your friend. And he also talked about following his commandments as well. We should be laying our lives down for our friends and also helping them to follow God's commandments, and they should be doing the same for us as well. One scripture passage that talks about this comes from the New Testament. It's from 1 Corinthians 15, 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 33. And St. Paul is saying to the Christians in the city of Corinth, he says, "Do not be deceived. Bad company ruins good morals." When it comes to friendship, the challenge is you want to make sure that your friends, that they're not involved in what is against God's commandments. You want to be around. You want to make sure you're surrounding yourself with friends who are going to lift you up and help you to be the best version of yourself. They're going to help you and encourage you to be respectful and to be responsible, to do the right thing in all circumstances. A friend who is going to set aside their own interests and desires to make sure you're okay and to be there for you. And you're called to do the same. If your friend is doing something that is not right, if they're being hurtful to somebody, if they're being involved in something that's harming themselves or others, being a good friend is speaking up and saying, you really should not be doing that right now. And being a good friend is encouraging them to do what is right and to do what is better, and vice versa. Bad company ruins good morals. So if you have friends who are constantly choosing to do what is wrong, harming others and themselves in the way they use their words, and their attitude through social media, or maybe they're just not making good choices, you need to be really careful, because if you surround yourself with that kind of friendship, you yourself are not going to make good choices. So you need to be sure that not only are you being a good friend and encouraging your friends to do what is good, and your friends are encouraging you to do what is good at all times, but you need to be really careful about being around those friends who are doing things that they should not be doing. And if you have friends who are really involved in some negative stuff and bad stuff, and there's a lot of negative energy there, you need to really ask yourself, is this person or that person really a true friend? Is that somebody that I want to be around as I get older, and if I'm going to be friends with them later down the line, and if I start my own family and I'm still friends with them, is that the kind of friendship that I want around my family? You have to think presently, and you have to think long term too. Do you want that negative energy in your life? Not to say that friends don't make mistakes. We all make mistakes. We all end up sinning at some point. We all make choices we shouldn't make. But being a good friend is to comfort a friend who has made a mistake and to ask them, how can I help you to do what is right the next time? That's normal. The problem is if you have a friend that you're encouraging to be the best version of themselves, but they're continuing to do what is negative and hurtful, that's when you have to ask yourself, is that person being a good friend? Or maybe sometimes you have to ask yourself, am I being a good friend? Am I being that negative person? And am I involved in things that I shouldn't be involved in? Am I creating a negative environment with my friends that is also influencing them to do what is negative and wrong as well? So bad company ruins good morals. So you got to be careful who you surround yourself with. Another scripture verse that I want to share with you as well is Proverbs chapter 27, verse 17. And it says, iron sharpens iron, and one person sharpens the wits of another. And what that's saying is that we have the ability to strengthen each other. Iron sharpens iron. If you take one iron tool and another iron tool, and they're dull, if you rub them together, they sharpen. Iron sharpens iron. So who you're surrounding yourself with, are they sharpening you? Are they strengthening you? Are you strengthening them? Which is what I was saying before. And all this happens through communication. If you take away one thing from this reflection or from this retreat at all, I want you to take away the word communication. You cannot have a healthy relationship without communication. You need to communicate your needs, and you need to communicate everything. Everything. You need to communicate everything. With my spouse, I have to communicate my needs, my feelings. She has to communicate her needs, her feelings. I need to communicate my schedule. She needs to communicate to me what her schedule is. We need to be in constant communication to work together to run our household. And so that's kind of what I was bringing up, the whole silly thing where we argue about what are we going to eat for takeout. You all have to communicate with each other about what each other wants and, what we're looking for and what we want. And then that way you can come to a consensus as to how to make a good decision, and everybody can fill up their tummies and be happy. Because I love food, and I love to talk about food, and I love to eat food. But communication is the most important aspect of any healthy relationship. You need to constantly communicate your thoughts and your feelings with your friends and your family members so that everybody can be on the same page, so that everybody can know where you're at, so you can know where they're at, and communicate, as I was talking about before, calling out somebody's poor actions. That's a form of communication. If somebody's calling out your poor actions, you need to communicate back what you're thinking and you're feeling as they are trying to correct you and help you to be the best version of yourself. So, again, take that with you. Communication is the most important aspect of friendship. If you really want your relationships to grow, communicate. And if you want your relationship with God to grow, you need to communicate with Him. And our form of communicating with God is prayer. When we talk to God, that is praying. So make sure you're communicating with God every day, your feelings and needs and desires, and your relationship with Him will grow. God bless you.